wait for my DC to get done talking. Has the gift. Yes, he could. I could have stayed back there a half hour. Got done with the game on Sunday and recognized several players, especially on offense. Gave a lot of credit to our running back room, just those four guys in general. The way the game kind of played out. We talked about establishing identity and playing with some physicality. And Reggie was the first off the bench. Then Josh, obviously, I think the way the order went. Caden was the next one in, and then Aiden. But I thought all four of those guys affected the game. And to have that kind of come through was really, really good. I did think Luke, in retrospect, looking at the game film, I liked the way he handled and managed. There was a couple things that he created on his own. Really the big play to Caleb or to Griffin Moore. He was there and had to extend the play a little bit and made it happen. And then one of the first touchdowns where he kind of made it happen with his feet was pretty impressive. And then also Isaiah Williams, just another good example. When that guy touches the ball, he not only excites the crowd base, he ignites our players as well. And when he plays well, we play well. So excited to see that. And then defensively, there were a lot of really positive things. I thought Keith Randolph probably played one of his best games. Now this group did have a plan for Johnny. They were doing a lot of things that were drawing attention to him, which when that happens, especially as an interior D lineman, that's got to free up other guys. So hopefully that is something that continues. I know it gets frustrating for Johnny, but it can be rewarding for others. And then a guy, Kanena Adelaga, just is a guy, that has just kind of silently done his business, has continued to play really well. But I think between Tariq, Dylan Rosiak, and Kanena, and now you throw Josh Kreutz in there a little bit, those four guys at the inside backer position are very, very unique. All of them kind of have a different skill set, but fun to watch that group continue to grow. So, and then just the way the game played out, Taz was out after the first half. T Strain rolls his ankle, forced a lot of those young freshmen into action. I thought they handled it very, very well. So we put the game behind us pretty quickly on Sunday. Obviously did enough things to correct and review offense, defense, and special teams, but jumped into our Purdue preparation, actually shortened our review time and extended our preparation time on Sunday. Today we'll have the day off, but our guys I know are chomping at the bit to get back into really an 8-week window here, 4 weeks in a row, then a bye week, then 4 weeks in a row. Both segments have 2 home games and 2 away games for us in Big Ten play, so to get this opportunity to go on the road and play the defending Big Ten West champs, I think is something that they're excited about. Give a lot of credit to Purdue. The last 2 years we haven't come out on top in a trophy game. It's something that I think our guys have talked about for a long time, so excited for the opportunity this week. Health-wise, I think everybody, for the most part, should be with us. Reggie and T. Strain, who had kind of lower leg injuries, weren't as significant as we may have thought at first. And those guys, if they don't practice tomorrow, should be fully engaged with us on Wednesday. Taz really was just a day issue. Taz had pretty significant sickness. He didn't practice Thursday or Friday, had over 100-degree temp, kind of that had been floating around us a little bit, and that kind of steamwheeled on him on Saturday, so wouldn't expect any problems or issues back with him. So other than that, I think we should be full strength for Saturday.
How does familiarity between the two staffs, schemes, play a role?
Yeah, again, I tell Josh all the time he's getting a bargain with me at 53. I've been through a couple of these. My first D coordinator job, I was the defensive coordinator at Wisconsin, but I had been on the Iowa staff with Kirk and that whole entire defense staff. Phil Parker and I were on the original staff with Kirk going back to the day. So I've done a lot of these crossover moments, and then obviously when I became the head coach, some commonalities of coaches you've been around, played around. I remember when I was at Wisconsin as a head coach, we faced Mike Hankwitz, who was the defensive coordinator for me, and he went on to become D coordinator at Northwestern. So there's a lot of these times where you have familiarity. This is an easy one just because Ryan was here last year and a couple guys on their staff. But I think these are things that come up more than you probably think from the outside world. We've been really talking about this game from last year's season in to where we are because we knew it was going to be the first Big Ten West opponent of the year, and it was going to be the beginning of an 8-week window of all conference play. So I think that's the bigger issue, maybe so than who's on their staff.
When was the last time you talked to Ryan?
To Ryan?
Yeah.
Talk to him? I know I talked to him the Saturday before we got going, just because I usually give that to our coaches, and I remember I called him just because I hadn't really talked to him that summer, and just wished him luck going into the season. But I think that was the last. I don't think I've talked to him on the phone. Maybe shot a text or two, but that's it.
Head coach.
Oh yeah.
You've said you didn't really want him to go to Purdue necessarily, but because it was some tension there or whatever.
Yeah.
You're playing him, but does anything surprise you about, what he's been able to do or?
I don't know what I said or didn't say. I was happy for Ryan. I mean, I called Purdue. Yeah. Yeah, I think the only reason that I might have said that is just it's a Big Ten opponent, and you have the desire to have people that you care about have success, but when it's in your division, that's not the case. But other than that, no, I think you really do learn to put these things aside. I remember the first time I ever had this really happen was I was a D coordinator going to Iowa, and if actually going into that day, if we won that game, we were going to be Big Ten champs. I think we intercepted the first 2 third-down passes, played pretty good defensively, but Jimmy Leonard was my safety, which made it a bit easier. But that one was tough just because of all that during the course of the week, and I really learned how to, that point forward, that's been over 18 years ago now, right? Like, it's really not a big deal.
You want that tree to grow, your coaching tree, obviously, right? That's a great thing, right? You would think.
I hire 10 coaches every year. I want every one of them to be a head coach. I think I learned that quote from Hayden Fry early on. He hires coaches who he hopes want to become head coaches. I think some guys have it, some guys don't. I would say on my current staff, I probably have 4 to 5 guys that I think will probably be head coaches eventually. When that happens, how it happens, that's in it. Again, you go from life lessons. I remember having a conversation with Paul Christ after we'd been together 4 or 5 years. His name had come up on some things. There was a job open at Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. I knew the AD. I let Paul and the AD interview at my house because they both wanted to be off record kind of. So I set it up and let them interview in my house and let them cross paths. It didn't end up happening. But then when Paul eventually became the Pitt job, I remember specifically walking down to his office and saying, hey, do you want this one? I know Coach is tied into their Coach Alvarez at that time. And we did everything we could to get that job. And that's Dave Dorn when I helped him get the Northern Illinois job, when he was defensive coordinator for me, Chris Ash getting the Rutgers job, Charlie Partridge getting the FAU job. I get calls all the time. The search firm that did the Purdue job, I introduced Ryan to the director of that search firm a year prior. So, there's just, if you hire good coaches, you know what's going to happen. It's just you just don't know when. Of what?
Nicario Harper in terms of his development and probably personal growth.
Yeah.
What would you see out of him and what can he add to you?
I say this all the time. Everything adds together, right? 2 + 2 = 4. So doesn't 3 + 1 or 6 - 4. 6 - 2 is 4, right? Like you can get to different numbers easily. Nicario Harper, we had an academic meeting every Thursday, and he had 2 A's in the classes that he was in. He's a grad transfer guy, right? And I walked up to him on Tuesday or Wednesday of last week because I knew he was going to be his first start. And I said, 2 A's, huh? And he looked at me and he goes, what do you mean? I go, you got 2 A's going in grad classes. I go, when was the last time he had 2 A's in grad classes? And he just smiled. He goes, I've never had 2 A's, Coach. And I'm like, I go, it's the same reason I think you'll have success on Saturday, right? Like he just has learned how we do things here. There was a point last spring where I got to have an academic meeting. It wasn't really as pleasant as that. And I kind of said, listen, this is how we do things. And if you buy into this and follow it, you'll be rewarded forever. And he's been doing that. I thought he played with incredible poise. Really the week before, he made a play on a tight end route that really jumped out to me that I'm like, okay, he's listening, And, he's got incredible talent. Early in his career, he was very, very well thought of at a couple other places he had been athletically, physically, and be able. I wish I had him for 2 or 3 years because I really think his potential is pretty high.
There doesn't appear to be any clear-cut favorite in the Big Ten West. Have you talked to the team about the opportunity they have to maybe to win the division, or is it one game at a time?
Yeah. Again, we've known each other going on 3 years now, right? Like we focus on the task at hand. We always talk big picture items, in general, but I think, like I said at the beginning of the press conference, we've been talking about this for a while because it was our first opponent in the Big Ten West that we were going to play. It's the first in a little run here. Obviously, we come back, play Nebraska, then Maryland, even though they're in the other division, a pivotal game, and then to come back and have Wisconsin. So 3 of the next 4 are Big Ten West. So if you try to jump to one before the other, it's never going to work.
Played a lot of your younger guys the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks. What have you learned about your couple of recruiting classes?
Yeah, we kind of actually had that conversation this morning, Monday. We like to kind of take a big picture look on Mondays, and we listed several guys on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, and then special teams. Our two best special teams players right now are probably Jaheim Clark and Josh Kreutz. James Kreutz. And it's just those guys get contagious. And then you saw James make a couple plays on Saturday on defense as well. Like usually players break into their mold, especially defensive players on special teams units. But I couldn't be happier to get Caden Fagan and Aiden Lawfrey involved in the game plan and to see Aiden score. I literally I felt that coming for a while, and then I literally can't even imagine what was going through Caden Fagan to see that end zone right there and to see uninterrupted. But to way to win that game once we took a knee, that basically sealed the victory, barring any center QB exchanges. But like we knew that was we put ourselves in grind to get down, and for him to execute that in that moment says a lot about him.
Balance for that, with the field goal that you guys left a couple seconds on earlier in the season, just in case there was a bad exchange.
Yep.
So what's the balance for understanding maybe a bad exchange could happen?
Well, a bad exchange between a quarterback and a center is completely different than a kicker. But at that point, when they took over, when we got a first down, and they still had 2 timeouts, I knew the number we needed to get to make the game on a win. And when we stopped, I believe it was 2nd and 5. They had 1 timeout. That's when I know what it was. It was the play before Josh McCray went out. We told Josh if he got a first down, he could grind to get down. And then so Josh, I knew it because Thad and I had a conversation. And then Josh went down after that first down carry, and we put Caden Fagan in. And obviously, everybody's probably, hey, it's this big moment, 4-point play. And I said, does he know grind to get down? Which means if he gets a first down, if he takes a knee, we win the game. And they were letting him score, right? Because they knew the situation. They knew they couldn't win the game anymore. So they were trying to let him score. And I think when that safety came up and kind of did one of those passerbys, and he knew enough to get down. Somebody pointed out to me that the social media was having a fun thing that we should have scored there. And I've seen teams score in that situation. Literally within our conference here in the last couple of weeks, there's been some teams that score at the end of the game, which puts you at risk. The only way we could lose that game was by scoring, because if we scored and we kick off, they scored, and they got an onside, they get 2 scores, they could still win. And most people don't see that, but I understand it, and that's why we did it.
I asked about KO. He just mentioned his attitude and his resolve to kind of trust in the building and trust in the process, and that's why he had success on Saturday. Did you kind of see that when you were looking at him, that his attitude and his work ethic was always going to be?
Kanena has been awesome since he's got here. Last year he was kind of a sub-package player for us. He actually played kind of nose in a weird kind of way, what we asked him to do. I just go back to his recruitment. I remember calling Coach Lynch. I think he was committed to an Ivy League school, if I'm not mistaken, and he was going there and tell me about this kid, this coach, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy that does everything right. I don't know if he's a linebacker, but I know he's an athlete who can run. He'll do everything you ask of him. Since that point, everything Coach said has panned out. I don't think we went into Saturday thinking you're going to get 40-plus plays, whatever it was, but it kind of played out that way, and he's just so conscientious, so intelligent. This past summer he went on a mission trip to Africa, and I let those 3 guys that went on that trip came back, and I let them address the team. And Kanena, his background, his family history, and everything that went into it, the way he talked up in front, I was like, okay, this guy's got leadership skills on top of that. He's also now one of our SAC leaders. We recently got to nominate a player for a Big Ten conference committee that's one player from every team, and I nominated him just because I think he represents everything that's right about us.
You evaluated the offensive line.
Yeah.
How can you help them?
Just get better. I think we'll obviously, we're always constantly looking at players that we can plug and play. But Zai and Isaiah, I think for sure on the right side feel that they can get better. I think also Hunter Whiteneck, Jordan Slaughter, between them and maybe Barlev, seeing if they can help us out in a certain capacity. But Julian Pearl played really well over on the left side. Geske probably played again his best performance at this point. So Isaiah Adams really played well at times. There were some things that I know he wants to clean up, but I couldn't be happier about the growth that they made. I know it wasn't in everything that we saw, but there were definitely a lot of things they did well. We just got to get them to be more consistent.
A few times with transfers, you just wish you could have had them for 2
Yeah.
or 3 years. I mean, are there things you can tweak on the recruiting front to find these guys earlier, or are you just always going to miss somebody?
You know, you take Nicario, like he's a guy that's from Atlanta originally. We don't really go into Atlanta heavy. It's an overly recruited city, and for us, you know, we couldn't defend number one out here for them, right? And he was a blue shirt walk-on at FAU, right? Another good reason why we probably should hit Florida more and more, because they're just pure numbers down there. You go into a county in Florida and you can literally kind of go into a certain school and there may be 5 or 6 Division I kids for you to evaluate, and then sometimes in those rural areas you get, and every city's got 1 or 2 guys where so we as a coaches, we really recruit the Midwest. Anybody that touches us, we recruit Florida and Jersey, and the rest of it will have to go through the portal. So I don't think Nicario would pop on our roster. Clayton Bush, again, he's another kid that's from whatever town Western Kentucky's in. I don't think he would have been up on our radar. Some of the Illinois kids that we're getting as bounce backs, I think that's for sure happening. You know, we get contacted. We've already been contacted this year with guys that we've recruited during my window of being here the last 2 years that are at places that aren't playing, right? Or maybe they're playing, they're not happy where they're at. So I think that's the stuff that's going to start coming back to us now. We said since we got here, like, we're going to recruit every kid in the state of Illinois that we feel can help us win a championship. But we didn't win all those recruiting battles, right? So now I think you're going to begin to see kids that are a year or two into programs that it maybe wasn't what they thought, and maybe that we're a little bit better than they thought we were going to be. And I think that's when we're going to start to get some of those dividends.
Brett, last week you were talking about finding identity, finding your strengths. Any more clarity there after another game?
Absolutely. I think anytime you know, especially defensively, I thought, you know, I didn't want to see it, but when we made that defensive stand down there, 4th down, we get a, you know, stop. Offense goes out, 1 play turns it over, and we go back out and stop them 4 plays in a row. To hold an offense inside the 15-yard line for 18 plays, or for 8 straight plays without a score, that's something you can hang your hat on. Offensively, I think obviously it didn't start out great. We started out good. We went down the field on a 4th and 2.5. You know, I think we thought it was probably a 4th and 1, so like we can definitely get better on what we want to get done there, but the idea was to be aggressive and try to come away with a touchdown on that first one, so that's why we went for it, but we didn't get the first down, so that put us behind a little bit there, but to be down 10-0 to have them respond and the big play hits. You know, Griffin Moore is a guy, I give Barry a lot of credit. Barry's been in love with Griffin Moore since he got here, just to what he brings, the attitude, the skill set. Tip Ryman to hit a big pass play. I think we've been waiting for Tip to kind of break out of that moment. Reggie hit a long run. Josh really ran with purpose. I think Luke, sitting where he was a week ago, to come back and play the way he did and created some things with his feet. I think it's a different demeanor to watch that on film. Special teams, I thought David Alano came in and sent a message about what he can do with his leg. Actually, Declan Dooley, I was within a hair of a chin and putting him in. He booted 3 punts in a row last week, over 60 yards. So, like, a guy that really has been impressive and excited for us to see. So there's some things you see, but there's also some things you guys haven't seen that I think are coming.
Will continue to handle those kickoff duties moving forward?
I do, just because David Alano is a very confident player. I sat him down after week 1 and said, hey, we're going to go with Caleb as the first string field goal and kickoff, but you're right there. Just keep doing what you're doing. He had a couple of good weeks, and I talked to him. I said, hey, I see, we got 4 games that we can play with here to use you and not use your redshirt year. And he looked at me and goes, I'm not going to need a redshirt year. I don't know how many freshman kickers say that, right? So, like, I just, peace up. I agree with you. Let's go. So he's just a very confident, very, very diligent, really competitive kid. Yeah.
Partner getting a personal foul penalty. Sorry.
What's that?
A partner getting a personal foul penalty.
A punter?
Yeah, when that happened. How's it go over with you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously no personal fouls are ones, and that one, obviously near the sideline, I think just got frustration, run over. But yeah, if you want to write an article about a punter getting a personal foul, go ahead. Yeah.